Yep, there it is.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Java Chat. My name is Mike Kalekini, otherwise known as Java Chat, Coffee with Mike. I'm sitting here with the founder of Zerbs. Gentleman to my left, your left, is Justin Szerletich. This is the gentleman that has basically helped me step up my live game by helping me get a few things working with OBS. It looks like we got a heavy mic. That's better. Okay.
Yeah, these first runs when you're just learning OBS, they're interesting. You start to get your levels figured out. You start to learn where to place things and how to operate it.
You start to learn how to actually do things right.
It takes a couple of times to really get the hang of it. So yeah, we're almost there.
I get to sit with the guy who is kind of like my coach at this point. And although he's a digital design master, he's basically like, no, you need to learn this and you got to do this and this. And I'm sitting here going, how? Okay. But thankfully, he's made it very, very easy. Justin is the owner and founder of Zerbs Media, or Zerbs. Just what?
Zerbs. So it's actually Szerletich Design Solutions is the company itself, but we have three brands. We have Zerbs, which is our digital marketing company that focuses heavily on video marketing and live broadcasts like this. We have Strategic Gifting San Diego, which is a corporate gifting, strategic gifting, promotional product company here in San Diego. And then we have Studio SZ, which is actually just our in-house motion graphics, VFX, and video production studio.
Which is how I lucked out because I won a sponsorship package.
Yeah. Michael watched one of my good friends' live videos. We were giving away an OBS setup, and here we are.
Yeah, her name's Trish Lito. She is awesome. She's a Navy vet. She's a live expert. She's been doing lives for like 3 years now. Now pretty much over 3 years. And she and Justin connected, and I noticed that her stuff got stepped up. And one day she was like, hey, we're doing this, and Justin's a sponsor. If you do something, you might win. And I came back the next day, and she saw me pop in, and she goes, Mikey, you won yesterday. And I went, great. What'd I win?
Yeah, what do I do?
Yeah. Or what did I do? What do I do now? Am I all right? Am I not in trouble again? Am I? So Justin and I connected, and it's been real fun to work with him on this stuff. This OBS stuff is amazing. I'm really enjoying it actually, and some of the things that he created are just, dude, your skills in design are awesome. I really love what you did. Totally enjoyed how you helped me put this all together. I'm looking forward to do a lot more of these. So should be a lot of fun.
It is. It's something that I'm really passionate about. But it took a few years to get where we're at right now. So I will talk about it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love what I do now.
Yeah. What did you do before? Before what you loved?
Oh, my goodness. So about 80 pounds ago, I was in the Marine Corps Infantry. I left the infantry.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
Oh, no. Thank you. I appreciate that, but it's not necessary.
Oh.
Left the Marine Corps, and I landed on my feet, thankfully, at the Social Security Administration. I was a representative with them for almost a decade.
Wow.
And yeah, believe it or not, people get jaded when they work there. So after almost 10 years, I got a little jaded, and we had just had our second child. My wife and I, we had a second daughter. And one of us was working just to pay childcare, essentially. Yeah. And I was like, I'm so unhappy with what I'm doing right now that I'll just stay home with the girls. Yeah. So, and then 6 months after staying home with the girls, I was like, I have to do something. And one of my dreams, was to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner. I'd always wanted to do something to that effect. But then I got kind of bamboozled, I would say, by the social media reality, not real life, but what you see on social media, all of these gurus and kind of the fake perceptions that everybody puts out of there with their Lamborghinis and their big mansions. And and so I started a t-shirt company because that's what every veteran does. Every veteran has a t-shirt company. Yep. It adds to my story because I literally started out of my garage. I mean, that is a very cliche stereotype that I fit 100%.
Yeah, but it's one that works. It's proven to work time and time again.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It reduced my cost significantly,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was still able to be home with my children.
Yeah.
After the t-shirts weren't going well, we started doing the strategic gifting. And that's when I started to kind of separate from the gurus and the masterminds and
How'd you
all
come
of,
across that?
everybody and their mom.
That's an interesting.
Say that again?
How'd you come across that? It's an interesting like business to get into.
A really good friend of mine said, "Hey, look," and I would call him a coach, Jack Schoenberger, amazing man, said, "Listen, everybody and their mom has a t-shirt company. You're competing with China. You're competing with all your other veteran friends. You're competing with all of these other companies that have much more capacity and better margins than you do. Try to niche it down. Don't just be a generic apparel company." And so we found, well, what are some things that we like to do? And it came out to, we don't want to be a generic promotional product company because those are a dime a dozen.
Right.
You're not going to beat 4imprint and all these other companies. Excuse me. So we wanted to do luxury gifting. So we kept the same equipment. We have, a giant flatbed UV printer. We have engraving capabilities, etc. And so now we just find very kind of unique and boutique gifts that you would want to give to a client or to a supplier or just someone you have a good relationship with.
Gotcha.
And so we focus on that. Our margins are much better that way. We can deal with a smaller group of clients that have a higher price point because the gifts matter more than just a generic t-shirt. And it's something I'm passionate about because I absolutely love people and I love relationships and communication. So helping people build and grow those relationships just naturally fit with what I wanted to do. And it was at that time that I loved designing so much that I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep designing and I'll keep the gifting and the printing business over here on the side, but I'm going to start another business that's going to focus solely on design work.
Right.
And that's when I started just doing, selling design, selling video production, video editing, graphic design work. And then that organically evolved into a whole digital marketing company itself, where we do, web design, graphic design, video design, SEO, any digital marketing service you can imagine is now through this other brand called Zerts.
Oh, I got to say good morning to a few people. That's really cool. Hang on. Good morning, Travis.
Yeah.
Good morning, May. Good morning, John. And Melanie, if you're still on there, aloha. Your story just leads one into the other. It's consummate entrepreneurship. It's trying to solve a problem and just leading into another solution and finding another niche to fill, so to speak.
It really is. It's about it's kind of cliche to say staying hungry, but really it's just staying passionate and wanting to continuously evolve and solve more and more problems and open up more and more avenues for yourself.
You know what's interesting? This leads right back into the discussion we had yesterday. You had been on a podcast recently with regards to authenticity, and that whole the beginning part of things. Getting bamboozled by the gurus. Everybody's been through that one.
Yeah, it's kind of a rite of passage now in the entrepreneur space, right?
It kind of seems weird that people have to go through that, but what's funny is I know some of them, and I watched what they did, and at the time. That whole thing seemed like a good idea at the time. It was a good idea at the time because it actually got the point across and it made the sales. But as soon as you get found out, all of a sudden your credibility kind of goes. Well, yeah, he might actually own it now, but when he started, he basically faked it till he made it. Is that really the way that you want to be as an entrepreneur, or is that just not? I mean, does that really serve? Does it really serve? Is really the question.
I think, it's known, you can definitely fake it until you make it. It is a legitimate strategy.
On social. Yeah, whatever's on social isn't necessarily true.
No, 100%. Going back to the gurus, I know a lot of them as well. Obviously, we're in the same communities, and they're not bad people. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus or call them out. I'm just, they're not doing
anyone
new
any favors.
Entrepreneurs any favors.
No, they're not. No, they're not. And it's
taking hundreds of dollars from them a month
for what
advice that they could have got from a blog,
or a book or something,
someone else's content.
Yeah, I think over half of that gets born out of the old magic bullet search. I mean, for years everybody's like, here's the silver bullet, here's the magic bullet, and then, I mean, this goes back to, the 80s. with
Yeah.
certain things, and I
Yeah.
because I've been around in that kind of business for that long. That I remember people coming out. They drive up in these nice Cadillacs, or they drive up in these nice
Mm-hmm.
luxury Mercedes or BMW, and you'd be like, "Oh, I want that," not knowing it's on a lease, it's not owned.
Yep.
You go to their house.
Or rented.
Their house is rented. It's they don't actually live there. Oh, well, we rent this house. I'm like, make all this money. Why are you renting a house? Well, it's better to just rent for now. I'm like, and the reason at that time was so that if they had to pick up and leave, they could go. And it's like, okay, where's the authenticity in that?
Yeah.
So even to this day, there's only certain people that I will work with due to the fact that either I have worked with them before, or I know enough of their reputation from other colleagues like you and I do, that I'll be like, yeah, I can do something with them. But it's like, how far do you have to go? I mean, look. Okay, as an example, look at Trish. Trish has been hustling her business for the last 3 years. She finally was able to quit her 9 to 5.
Yeah, finally, which is amazing.
Only 3 years into it, and I say only 3 years into it because, in all honesty, that's a fast track. The fact that
it really is.
Yeah, she got that deal with VaynerMedia that definitely helped. I don't think that would have made it any faster, but it certainly helped. And I'll tell you, since then, her networking has gone through the roof. Her business is starting to raise. She's getting all kinds of great stuff, and it's because she's been authentic from the beginning.
Yes.
She doesn't show
and
anything.
It's something that helps with that. Just to touch on a tangentially connected point, TV and radio, podcasts, even just appearing in someone else's blog.
Yeah.
For those of you starting out now, if anybody stumbles across this video, take every opportunity you can, because you can leverage those appearances, however small or insignificant you think they may be, into credibility and just an opportunity to come across as authentic and share your story.
Which really...
Trish does every day.
Oh, yeah.
In 5 chunks, and she is the best at it. I mean, she is amazing.
She never misses. I wish I was more tuned into her calendar, because I actually love her lives. And I try to stay as long as I can. Of course, I have my calendar like any other entrepreneur, so it's hard for me to.
We're a little busy.
Yeah, we're all a little busy. But I love her content, because every time she does something, I don't care what it is, even if she's hashing over something that she's done before, which actually I don't think she has, not yet. She keeps teaching new stuff, but she's just piling on. But every time I watch her, I learn something new that I was just like, I got to put that in there too, don't I? And it's only because my specialty happens to deal in the box that I'm in right now, and this part of it, which is what I should be doing, like what she's doing, this part of it I've still not nailed down yet. You've actually kind of helped me nail down a small portion of it, which is all of this live in these interviews. Doing 5 minutes for me is damn near impossible with what I do, because I talk a lot about I talk about the buyer's journey, I talk about data, I talk about it just, and then of course I'm hyped on coffee, so you can't shut me up.
Well, and Trish will be the first one to tell you that 5 Minute Lives is a name.
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to vary based on your business and your industry and, a million other factors, but there's so much power in this type of live video broadcasting. And my little part of it is just to ensure that you provide your customers or your audience a nice branded, pretty experience.
Thank you. That's really nice. So tell me, how long did it take for you to, through this journey, what are we talking about? A span of a year, 2 years, 5 years? Where are we at?
We're into so let's see. This is our second year of doing business. So it was 2017.
From the very beginning, from T-shirt to now, it's only been 2 years.
Yes. So
you're on a fast track.
It was like October 2017 is when I was like, okay, listen, honey, I love being here with the girls, but I have to go do something. And that's, I think it was late January, early February of 2018 that we actually launched our first website and said, hey, here's our designs and our shirts, buy my stuff, etc. And it didn't take but maybe 6 or 7 months until, because I'm kind of, I don't want to float my boat, but I'm in tune with myself. I know who I am.
Float it all day, brother. That's why you're here. It's all right.
I have an internal sense of myself that like I know when I'm doing something I want to do and when I'm going down a path that doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
And so it only took about 6 or 7 months before I was like, okay, like this masterclass, this group that I joined, I'm not. It's not me. That's not who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I left that. I stayed connected with the one guy I told you, Jack Schoenberger,
Yeah.
who really, he was a nuts and bolts guy. You'll find a lot of these gurus are very philosophical and esoteric almost in their
If you're not
just believe.
if you're not a practitioner, I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, Jack was very much numbers, strategy, implement this, we're going to do this, boom. And so that's immediately upon taking his advice, moving into the strategic gifting niche, it just went boom.
Perfect. Perfect.
And ever since then, the strategic gifting has continued to grow, and I've been able to focus on my design with Zerd. So I'm very, very fortunate because as we were talking about, like with Trish, sometimes it takes 3, sometimes it's 5. Some guys aren't successful for decades. And I'm not saying that I'm successful. I'm by no means a millionaire. I'm sitting in my home office, because I'm fortunate enough to be able to work from home.
Well, we got to remember too that the definition of success isn't money.
No, not at all. I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm making enough to provide for my family, my daughters, my wife is happy. I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
and I love what I do. That's success. Yeah. I don't work.
It goes. I keep going back to Tony because he's the one that came up with the most succinct way of saying it. Is success is being able to do things the way you want to do on your own time, when you when you want to do it. It's not the exact wording, but it's the idea is the same. Is if you want to be able to stay home, be with your family, and you can support them to a point where you're not stressed out over next month's bills or this month's bills, even worse. There you go. You've already reached one level of success. You've already gotten successful. Now, where do you want to go from there? That's a different story. Now you're looking at achievement versus just success. So and anybody that wants to contest me on that can over a steak dinner that you're buying, feel free, reach out. I'll happily sit down with you. But yeah, I mean, to be able to do what you've done in just a matter of, again, 2 years, that's fast, dude. I'm one of those that's a 10-year cycle. I'm not wildly successful. I'm not one of the biggest dudes out there online. My specialty, believe it or not, and it's only because I get frustrated with people, is business etiquette, because most people don't have any. And then the rest of it has to do with marketing and being able to help people do better on their Facebook ads, do better on their advertising period. It's for me in the last couple of years, a lot of stuff has pulled through really fast. And I've had to learn really fast, and thankfully I'm a decently fast learner. Because I think I am.
Well, I mean, as you'll attest, just like everyone else, especially in marketing and business, I mean, things are in constant flux. The MBA is not, nowadays the MBA is not what it was 10, 15 years ago, just because of the ever-evolving nature of marketing and business in general.
You have a much better chance of having a relevant MBA if you're looking at international business, and even then, that changes quickly too. Or something that's not necessarily in the marketing niche, like finance. If you're talking about business finance.
I've foregone. I did my undergraduate at a small college called Champlain College, and I got just a generic business management degree with a minor in supply chain management. Because I thought, okay, I'll need that because I'll be sourcing all these different products, right? That quickly changed. I was offered an opportunity to teach a intercultural communications course while pursuing my MBA there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, look who's there.
Pardon me 1 second.
Good morning.
Okay, I'll be right there. Oh, I'm so
adorable.
sorry about that.
No, it's all good, dude. This is all part of how, dude. It's live. What do you want? That's exactly what we expect.
Part of working from home.
It's part of being able to do this is to be able to have that. That's totally. She's adorable, dude. How old is that one?
Well, thank you. She just turned 3.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Total adorable. It's all good. Yeah. No. The whole thing about getting the degree, and this is still argued about by sides, if you will. How relevant is a degree? I was just talking with a friend of mine who teaches as an adjunct at Golden Gate up in San Fran, and he says, there's still some things about an MBA that may, help out as far as lending to credibility. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can see that. I'm so results based that I would rather people talk about me than my degree, because I have one. I have a BA from a college,
Yeah.
business administration, marketing distinction. I spoke with a buddy of mine's when he graduated from Oxford with dual degree, MBA in international, MBA in internet marketing, and an LLM, basically a
Yeah.
JD, and from Oxford no less. And I called him up literally. And he's, by the way, he's one of the old school lead farmers. So he was making 7 figures a month just generating leads and lead lists back in the
when it
90s.
first hit.
Back in the 90s, early 2000s. He got his degree in 05, I believe. And I called him and I was like, dude, congratulations. That's awesome. Can you tell me about the program? I want to go get my degree. He cut me off. He says, don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? He goes, Mike, you know what I do? I'm like, yeah, you make a freaking killing doing lead generation. He goes, yeah, I knew more than the professors at Oxford. He says, don't. You're at about my level as far as knowledge is concerned. It'd be a waste of your time. Don't do it. I'm like, so what am I supposed to go take then? He goes, anything but marketing. So it's like, okay, now what do I do? And of course that leads back to the self-education and going back to being authentic. What's really going to serve me?
Yeah.
You figured that out after your degree.
And I'm putting myself in a pickle again, just because I refused that. When I was talking about earlier about the potential to go teach a course and pursue my MBA at the same college that I did my undergraduate, and I said no, at the time, because as you had just mentioned, number one, an MBA is a very generic kind of 1,000-foot view of business. If I were to suggest someone go get a graduate degree in business, I would look at something more focused, probably like an organizational leadership degree or something to that effect. Not the MBA anymore, or accounting, whatever. Just something specific, much more specific.
Yeah. I think...
But I wanted to focus more on design. So, yeah, I'm going to continue learning and educating myself through non-traditional means for business. But I actually, this summer, am headed to Cambridge. I will be attending Harvard to do digital media and design. They have a master's
that's
program.
Something. That's different. That's
why I refused my undergraduate school, because it was like, I normally, for design work, I'm like, do I need a master's? No. What I need is a nice portfolio that shows that I can apply real world, design techniques to video and photographs and everything.
Yep.
But there's just something about a Harvard or a Yale or a Stanford that you want on your pedigree.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to their extension school, which allows me to stay here for most of the degree. And I only have to attend, I believe it's 2 courses at the actual school itself. So
wow. It'll
be fun.
And you live where?
San Diego.
And you're going to be attending 2 classes in Harvard.
Yes.
In Harvard, where they have heart attacks.
Yes. Complete opposite end of the country.
About 2 months after, you're gonna be wicked smart.
I'll be taking a couple of the courses that's required to graduate are extremely short and can be done in a crammed session. So the counselor is going to allow me just to come for a summer and knock out those requirements.
It's almost like auditing. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish you all the best on that one. That's smoking. That's a real good idea. If I had something that specific that I could go after, I'd probably try to do it too. I mean,
it's normally I feel like I'm in a pickle because I'm the guy who's speaking out against chasing these degrees in design and marketing and whatnot because of the evolutionary nature of the business. And all you really need to do is demonstrate that you can get results and demonstrate that you have an understanding of current technology, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I just, something in my brain's like, I can't pass up the opportunity to go to Harvard.
No, if you're getting accepted and you get that, any school like that, and if it was Stanford saying that, it'd be like, you'd be a fool not to take it, Pepperdine, any of those. I mean, they're all great colleges. I actually was talking with USC at one point about getting a master's in communications, and I thought about it and I was like, why would I do that? I already communicate fairly well, I think. I maybe miss once in a while, but Lenny popped in. Hey, Lenny, if you're watching, how you doing, brother? Lenny Windsor former writer for a very well-known show out of the UK. Believe it was Monty Python. Great guy.
Oh, wow.
Killer
That's amazing.
comedian. Guy's hilarious. Older gentleman just still knocks it out of the park when it comes to laughing. I mean, he's so funny. Anyway, yeah, that was the whole reason that I was talking to my buddy about Oxford, was like, you get a degree from Oxford, holy crap, you know. And it's like, yeah, don't bother. It's not gonna serve you. It'd be a waste of money. And I'm like, you're killing me, Smalls. What are we doing here? You know, where do I go? What do I do? I have, as of late, talked to a couple of people about finishing up and grabbing my MBA. And there are a couple of colleges that my current credits would probably I'd probably have to audit a couple courses. But
I really, really love my undergraduate school. I would recommend them to anyone. So they have a completely online, fast-tracked MBA program. It's called Champlain University or Champlain College.
I know Champlain, yeah.
Yeah. Check them out. I mean, especially if you're just trying to stay home and not go to campus. They were amazing, and their staff's wonderful. I loved every moment there.
Well, we'll definitely have to check that out. And of course, if anybody's watching, you know, there's a recommendation from somebody who knows and got into Harvard. So, you know, it's of all things.
The only reason I even went to Champlain is because I was still working at Social Security at the time when I went back to school.
Right.
And they had a federal government employee tuition discount.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps.
So if you have federal employee friends or just anyone, because it's such a great school, definitely check them out. I recommend it.
Yeah, if you're gonna, and that goes back to, if you're gonna go into debt, make sure there's a return.
Oh yes.
And that doesn't mean on a job.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I get in trouble a lot. Well, you're supposed to get a job. Okay, if you wanna get a career, all right, that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to get a job that pays you more money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And this goes back to our discussion on authenticity. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, if you go into debt, there's supposed to be a return. If you're not looking at what you're going to get back, you're missing out on everything, not just some of it, because there goes your family time, which I've suffered. There goes your personal time, which you will suffer and find out down the line. What the hell am I doing this for? I have no time for me. And it's interesting. I still fight the guilt of, I got to get off of this thing and go take a walk. After this interview, I'm going to get up and go take a walk around the block and just chill out for a minute and reset my head so I can come back, sit down, and get back to work. If you're going to do something, the return needs to be complete. It can't just be financial. And I think that's where a lot of people miss. What's his name? Billie Jean. You know who that is?
Yes.
He not long ago came out with a video talking about his journey to get back to health, because out of all the success from his business, his home life was suffering, his health was suffering. He had gained so much weight from all the partying and blah, blah, blah. And he's still on that journey. He's not talking about it that much, but he came out and was really clear. Guys, this is what success can do to you if you're not careful. And he's not the only one I've seen that happen to. I've seen numerous marketers and
you'll hear that. You know, it's funny because who you hear it from most are guys that, have been successful for, say, a couple decades, 20, 30 years. And then all of a sudden they're kind of looking back like, wow, I missed out on all of my kids' childhood. I missed out, I neglected my wife or my spouse for how long, things like that. And I think it's very important to kind of nip it in the bud at this stage where I am now, just to ensure, again, going back to that fake social media life where everyone's, hustle, grind, 24/7. No. Be your family and yourself, you deserve more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason we get into business is for the radiant benefits of business, right?
Right.
The radiant benefits of working for yourself are being at home,
yep.
Having more freedom,
yep.
And well, that's pretty much it, I guess. Those two are what I'm coming to top of my head.
Honestly, those should be the base and really deepest parts of it, is having the freedom to do what you want in your way when you want to, and being at home, being able to be with your family. Why
then would we force ourselves to work for ourselves 24/7 and neglect those around us? I mean, relationships are extremely important, so it's important for me that I remind myself the same way you do. Okay, I need to go take a walk. Like my daughter there, she has her cracker, she has her TV. We'll be good for about another 20 minutes, and then I know, I can't neglect her.
We'll get to see her again?
Yes. I will have to go and we're gonna go practice our flashcards. We're gonna
Sweet.
it's just those things. You can't be sucking into your business 24/7. You have to respect those relationships that you're in. It's
Yeah,
healthy, number
yeah.
one, and it's just good.
There's a couple of people who I admire because they've figured out the part of work and balance. One gentleman's name is Seth Green. You and I have discussed him. His
Yeah.
business has allowed him to coach over, I think, 24 plus seasons of soccer for his son.
Wow.
That's telling. Then you got people like Brendan Bouchard, who also has a family and is also able to spend time. You don't hear much about his family, but he's got a family life. And he's one of those that's like every 50 minutes he gets up off his desk, stretches, walks around, does other things. And there are numerous other ones too. They're just like, I want to be there when the good things happen. Like me working from here, there are times when my son's 17. A lot of what he does is online. So literally all I have to do is pull up a tab on the browser and I can watch what he's doing. And he does videos, he does virtual flight, he's done live shows already online. And we're trying to get him to pick up a Twitch channel.
Wants to be a pilot, right?
Yes, he's actually in a magnet program.
Yeah, that's so cool.
He's in a magnet program at the end of his senior year. He should be soloing for his private pilot's license.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, boy, will it, because then Daddy can go all over the place whenever he wants to. So I go, son, we're going to San Diego. We're gonna go visit Uncle Justin. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you get the point. It's you've already said it. I just said it. The ability to take entrepreneurship to the level that it's supposed to be at. Yeah, there's hustle and grind, but even like Gary Vaynerchuk says, there's 18 hours in a day for you to get to work. What are you doing with those 18 hours? Are you screwing off, or are you making use of it? And for guys like me that are creatives, we have a hard time sitting still very long. And yet if we get hyper focused, you can't move us. So there's danger on both sides. One side, it's hard to get focused and get to a deadline, and the other one, it's hard to unfocus and get the heck off of the damn thing so you don't end up overdoing it.
100%. I'm the exact same way, and I'm incredibly introverted, which is odd because I enjoy talking and I enjoy communicating.
I was about to say, boy, sure can't tell by this interview. Yeah.
But you will not see me out in public. I will not be, smoozing at these big conferences. If I do go to a conference or an event, I will be, in a corner doing my own thing. But then I have those moments where
you have a new partner that's going to come with you to certain events, and I'm going to drag you out in front of everybody, and I'm going to be like, you need to talk to this guy.
Yeah. Otherwise, everything is online, and you're right. You can get hyper focused to the point where my wife's like, "Hey, are you coming to bed?" And I'm like, "Yeah, here in another hour or whatever." But other days, you're right. You just have to kind of remove yourself.
Do you have that right shoulder trigger, or that left shoulder trigger rather? Do you have that trigger?
What are you talking about?
The left shoulder trigger? You don't know that one?
No, do tell.
That's the one where the wife comes out, puts her hand on your left shoulder, and goes, "Come to bed, dear."
Oh no, it's usually something thrown. Yeah.
Oh. Get to bed.
A chancla, like a. So yeah, it happens.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I hope one day whoever it is, she doesn't do that to me. That'd be hilarious.
No, I give up everything.
In my house, it would turn into an all-out kung fu black belt theater kind of thing. Just be like things flying all over the place, and she's like, "Throw a pen at me, will you?"
Yeah. No. All of this is because of my wife, and she's a big part of the business too. She helps out in every way possible. She is a nurse, so she still works her job. And she's the most amazing mother to my kids that I could have asked for. So
sure,
I'll let her beat on me occasionally.
Well, yeah, because she can heal you at the same time. If I would let her, that happen too.
Yep.
Hey, listen. So we're getting kind of close to the end, and I'll ask you two questions. One, I'll ask you, what is the biggest piece of advice you can give to somebody that's thinking about being an entrepreneur, with regards to either your specialty or just in general? Just what's your biggest piece of advice?
I mean, it goes back to kind of the running theme that we've been talking about the last couple of days, and it's authenticity. And I know, as a new entrepreneur, you're probably going to fall into some of the same pitfalls that we all have, which is you're watching what you see on Instagram and Facebook and kind of that fake social media life. And I want to stress that you need to be authentic to yourself and to your own passion. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be this guru. Don't try to fake it until you make it. Know your place, know where you're at, know what you know. Apply that passion and knowledge to your business, and you'll succeed. And you'll feel good about yourself. You won't have these problems that we read about 30 years later. You're crying because you didn't watch your kids, first communion.
Right.
No, be true to yourself. Keep that authenticity throughout all areas and all aspects of your business, and you'll be rewarded. People love authenticity, and they love, just a genuine connection. Just be a nice guy.
Cool. I dig that.
Treat really others like you would like to be treated. I don't remember what commandment that is, but it's one of them, right? That's a big thing as well.
It's the golden rule. It wasn't necessarily a commandment.
Golden rule.
The commandment was to love everybody as if you were to love yourself. That was commandment.
But that's the second piece of advice: is never think you're more important than you are, and never think anyone is less important than you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because constantly I see people belittle others because they're new in business or they're not as successful as that other person. And it's just rude and nasty, number one.
Yeah.
And, there's enough work for all of us. We're all in this for the same reason, to be with our families, to be, that entrepreneurial spirit, to have the radiant benefits of working for yourself and owning a business, to help our communities.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no place for ego and nastiness. There's a place for ego and self-importance and self appreciation and all of that. Self-worth is important. But when you become that point where you have an ego and you're belittling other people or belittling other businesses, it's completely inappropriate, and it makes you a horrible person.
Yeah. I wanted to read you something that a friend posted today. Let me pull it up real quick. He is probably one of the most insightful entrepreneurs that I know of. He teaches some really great, like super great content. He just posts it out of the blue. It's amazing stuff.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
That's another thing for you brand new entrepreneurs. You shouldn't have to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to be mentored or to get information that will help you with your business. Yes, there are some that are very, very good and you will have to pay for, but a lot of these really good mentors and coaches and people that have been successful give away the stuff for free. Make sure you're joining groups and networking and finding people that share information for free. That's the way to learn and continue educating yourself.
So, guy's name is Kevin Nations. Great guy. Navy vet.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome guy. Just really, really smart. Brilliant, friggin' really. Part of a statement he made today says most of his clients, because he teaches high level stuff, most of his clients with the highest levels of success are looking beyond themselves to measure their levels of commitment, and those with the lowest are often looking at zero-based comparisons or to those of lower commitment to reinforce their fantasies about their levels of commitment. And I took that as, very simply, you can talk all the hack you want about you're not being committed enough, or you're not doing this enough, or you're not doing that enough. The moment you do that, you're out. You've already lost. But if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, that's where I want to be, I need to commit to that and not worry about this, because they've made their choice. They'll be where they're at. If they want to come along, they're going to come along. It's not my job to drag them kicking, screaming, or punching and fighting. It's my job to go make me move in that direction. And that's, I had to reassess this morning when I read that. I was like, am I still doing it that way? And I can't, honestly speaking, no, because I've been watching some of the other stuff.
Much more or much better articulated exactly kind of what we were talking about with, being authentic and not chasing that fantasy, and kind of focusing on your own authenticity and your own path. And you'll have to send me his name or a link to his content.
I'll give you his link here in a minute. And for those of you that don't know who Kevin is, Kevin's probably one of the most authentic, insightful entrepreneurs you'll ever meet or know of. And the content that he posts is always deep. And you find yourself, I'll tell you what, if you're not at a certain level, you'll be offended by what he posts, and it's because he has no fear of calling anybody out on their shit, and he puts it in such a loving, nice way. You can't be mad at him. The only thing you can do is sit there and go, shit, he's right. And eventually you'll either keep following him because you want to keep learning from him because he gives out a lot of great stuff, or you'll disconnect because you can't handle him. I mean, me personally, I take everything that is a reference to me, I take it. And it's because I'm looking at, again, that level of commitment beyond myself to go, well, he's right. Where I'm at, so far I've chosen, I need to choose differently. So that whole thing. Last question. You do have a level of success. With everything that you have going right now, what's your biggest challenge?
Oh, my biggest challenge. I should have had something prepared. What is my biggest challenge? I know we have challenges all day, every day, huh? My biggest challenge right now is probably just managing the amount of clients that we have. So it was something I didn't mention, but we actually just hired another employee yesterday, and I made the announcement, and I'm very excited.
You did tell me that yesterday. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was a good enough.
Mario Mitchell is an Air Force veteran. He's joining us as a social media manager and community manager, just because we've brought on so many clients in the last few months that I've had to be the social media manager for like 6 different companies.
Right.
And it became to the point where, okay, that I'm just a social media manager now. Now I'm not able to create, and I'm not able to do my content creation. So it got to the point where I needed to hire someone. And I think he just started yesterday, or just got hired yesterday. He'll start, I believe, this afternoon or tomorrow. But that was the largest challenge. And I think going forward, it's going to be, when do we hire a second? And I think it's going to be sooner rather than later, because we're interviewing even more people. It sounds like
the challenge is keeping up with scalability. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I guess I don't want to say scaling or growing is a bad thing or a challenge.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm just saying managing
the scaling, and ensuring that I can manage my business and not just work for the business. You know what I mean? Because
you don't need
another
job.
To have time to do these things.
Yeah.
But also, I want to continue creating, because that's my passion. I want to create the videos and content.
Totally.
So it's good. And I'm very, I want to help my community. I want to help my veteran brothers and sisters by making sure I hire on as many of them as possible, so that they're also earning a little bit of money, helping me manage these accounts, helping me get the content out there. So that was my largest challenge, was just managing the growth.
You think you got that under control now?
We'll find out. No, I'm 100% certain that I made a good choice picking Mario. He fits with the company so well. I don't see any problems coming from picking him up. The only problem that I could foresee happening is needing another Mario. So only time will tell. It just happened right now, so we'll see.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, it has been a true pleasure. We've actually gone over time, which is wonderful. I love conversations like this because I could sit here and chat all day, brother. Oh yeah, I know. We could. I have Julie Stapleton's just like that. We could sit and talk for freaking ever. But I'm gonna need your link to Zerb so people can find you. Guys, when I sign off, you're gonna see everything that you see on my live casts from now on. They're all from Justin. He did them himself. And I can tell you,
fairly soon we'll get a nice, lower third and some graphics for these Zoom calls done.
I'm still learning. It's all wonderful. I can tell you right now, being Zerbed, I got Zerbed.
I got Zerbed.
I'm branding that. I don't care if you like it or not, but you are going to be the guy that Zerbs everybody. That's just how it's going to go. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. Justin's links to his companies will be down in the chat. Make sure you stop in. If you're listening to this on Anchor, check out the description. If you're listening to it anywhere else, you should be able to see the same description as well. Thank you very much, brother. I thank all of you for watching. Remember, be good to each other. Love you. Talk to you guys soon. Ciao.
Be awesome.